Hi friends, welcome back. Welcome to Living on the Edge. Hope you all had a great week. I'm Alex. As always, I'm going to show you something interesting. We're back on Jewel of the Seas, and for those of you who follow my channel for the past 3.5 years, you know that one of my first videos actually was here on this ship, in actually one of the same categories of the suite as I'm staying right now. I'm back into the owner's suite. It will be very interesting to see how those suites were maintained for the past 3.5 years, to see if they're still relevant. But most of all, starting from this particular cruise on October 6th, there were some extra new additions that were done just for the suite's guests, and we're definitely going to talk about those. Before we'll talk about everything, I will take you, as always, on a tour, and I will show you everything the suite has to offer, and of course then we will talk about all the extras. So as always, grab something nice to snack, perhaps a drink, and let's begin. Welcome friends, this is the owner suite, or how they call it here on Jewel of the Seas, the Beethoven suite. As you can see, she's not short of any space, but first of all, let's approach the door and see where we are located. Like most of the suites on this ship, 1568, the owner suite is located on deck number 10. She's very centrally located, very close to the stack elevators right here, but she's also kind of further away from the lobby because I wanted to make sure that there is no noise or sounds that come in from that area. First of all, I want to point out that at the entrance we have this marble floor, which I really enjoy, that you enter your room into a hard floor and not a carpet. It feels cleaner, more hygienic, I like that. We have two storage sides, kind of like side tables, on the sides of your entry door with 3 drawers in each. And if I'll turn you this way, we have our dining area, entertainment area. Let's explore. In this section we have a dining table with 2 chairs. Feels definitely big enough for 2 people to share a comfortable meal, perhaps more, but you might need to ask for extra chairs from your room attendant. Right across we have a dry bar, which we'll explore in a second, but right here we have your one and only wardrobe. Quite a few mirrors. I believe that back in the day that was the style. It does look spacious. Because of the mirrors, it's made the whole space feel wider. But let's open the doors and see what's behind them. So first of all, if you can see, by opening the doors, lights go on, so the closet, the wardrobe is pre-lit. We have some jackets on top. Judging by the amount of jackets, we have 4 of them, so I would assume that this suite can accommodate 4. One long wide space for hanging, with some floor storage. As you can see, my luggage is there, but there's also this nice unit inside which has 3 drawers. So this is something very nice. Now, if you do need to extend your hanging space, you of course have this bar right here that you can drop down to extend the space of your storage. Checking the other 2 doors on this side, we again have 2 doors. In this section, it's a very wide open space. Everything is dedicated for hanging. We have 1 bar on top, another 2 bars right there that can be dropped. Nothing really on the floor, so there's plenty of space for maybe your luggage or stuff of that sort. Of course, you have 2 bathrobes coming with the suites, being this an owner suite. They also give you some sleepers right here. This is kind of a new one. Recently I haven't seen any sleepers in the owner and the grand suites, but I'm hoping this is the new trend. We also have the laundry bag like here. Again, this is kind of like a fabric bag. It says Royal Suite Class. So I don't know if that's a new standard, and hopefully it is. Royal Caribbean, that definitely looks good. Okay, right next to your closet, as I mentioned before, you have your dry bar, well, entertainment center, I would say. Quite a few storage here. We will not go through all the drawers, but we have 6 drawers on each side, as you can see. They're pretty deep, not very wide, but definitely enough space for you to store your stuff. Behind this door we can find our mini fridge. The mini fridge does not come pre-stocked. Let's open. There it is, but you do have an option to ask your room attendant for additional fee to pre-stock it for items you enjoy and like. Now on top of that storage unit, we have kind of like a marble top here. We have a bucket for your ice. Again, your room attendant will replenish that. Some waters for the suites. The Avian, it's the kind of like a high-end one-time bottle you receive upon receiving the room. And here we go. As you all know, the espresso maker is right here for you. Any suites from junior suites on Royal Caribbean and above receive the great Lavazza machine. You have, of course, the caffeinated, the decaffeinated, some teas, creamers, sugars, everything you might need. And again, from my personal experience, sometimes you can ask for extra of decaffeinated or caffeinated, whatever you would like, they will make it happen. Now, in addition to that, as you can see on the sides, hi friends, by the way, on the sides of this storage, we have those semi-clear sheer glass storage units. So if I'll open one of them, it's kind of like more for a display, I would say. I always say it in my videos, I kind of enjoy when it's a longer cruise to maybe put there some memorable stuff that you buy in port. So things of that sort. It's kind of like slowly turns this whole place into your own home away from home. Let's go and explore your living space. The owner suite is called the one-bedroom owner suite. We will see in a second how that turns into one bedroom, but this space is very, very generous and wide in size. We have this huge corner sofa. I will say it is definitely on the older side, but she is definitely comfortable. I tried it already. There is quite a wide side table here, and we of course have some 2 armchairs on the sides, coffee table, another side table with a light over there. This sofa, by the way, is also your additional sleeping space. So if you have additional two guests or 1 guest, this opens to a queen size sleeper sofa, and this is where the additional guest will be accommodated. Turning you from this end, as you can see, this is your TV. This is also where the the suite becomes the 1-bedroom suite. As you can see behind the TV, we have a curtain. You can definitely close it all the way end towards the other side, and this is how you will separate your bedroom area. Underneath the TV, we have some doors and of course some additional storage. I do like how the TV turns and swivels, and you can definitely enjoy it from either side, whether it's the bedroom or of course the living space. Let me walk back so you can see how it looks like. Right now it's facing basically the door, but yeah, it's very nice. But of course, if you have somebody who would like to watch TV at the same time in the living space and in the bedroom, I don't think you can actually do that unless you all going together in one space. I think it's time to explore the bedroom area. This is your bedroom space. This is behind, again, the TV, behind the curtain, and let's check what we have here. So first of all, as you can see, the bed is set up right now for what they call the Royal King. The bed, of course, can be separated. If you will ask your room attendant, they will push one of the nightstands in between to separate those into 2 single beds. Now, of course, we have 2 nightstands. We have some marble top on the nightstands that I appreciate that. Again, I like it's kind of like more clean, sanitary. I hope it's easier for the room attendant to clean. Of course, right next to the bed, we have additional storage unit. But it's also combined, of course, with a desk, or if you would like to use it for maybe a makeup mirror station, something of that sort. Now, I will point out that on the sides of the bed, unfortunately, there is no charging options. There is no charging outlets. And for that reason, your charging outlets in your bedroom area will be right on this desk. As you can see, we have 1 US plug right here. We have additional US plug on the other side right here. We also have 1 European plug. I would definitely recommend to bring maybe a battery or something that is approved by the cruise line so you can charge your personal devices like phones during the night. Otherwise, you definitely can some additional ones in the living space. But before that, let's see what we have here as storage-wise. On each side, we have 3 drawers right there. There are definitely on the wider side. I appreciate that. It's about so. And you also have like kind of like those side tables that you can extend on both sides, and by that basically increase the desk, the table amount of space that you have. Underneath the table we have this kind of like a makeup stool. I wish it would be a chair just because I like to work on the ship, but I still think it's very comfortable for what it is. On the other side, we have actually 6 drawers. We have 3 right here, but 3 also right here. and above, very similar unit to what we saw in the living room, but this one actually is deeper for your storage, with one of the shelves being dedicated to your safe. Now the safe, I will mention, is not big enough for your laptop or things of that sort. It's definitely big enough for your personal items like passports, jewelry, things of that nature, just to make sure that you are safe. Now, in addition to all that, as you can see, we have quite a few mirrors here. We have one in the center, we have two in the side, so we even have like a makeup mirror right here. And behind those mirrors, hello friends, we have additional storage. Again, it's kind of like on a narrower side, but it's very, very deep. It's great for maybe perfumes, maybe small items. I actually keep in those places usually my tech stuff while I'm editing for you guys on board. But yeah, tons of storage in this suite. Definitely something that is not short of. Okay, let's go ahead and explore your bathroom in your owner's suite. One of the places I really like in the ship, one of the places I really care about on my cruise. So let's go ahead and see. So first of all, let me step back and you will see our entrance door is again right here. Right to the right of it, we have the door right there. And this is where your bathroom is. Let me go ahead, open the door for you, and we can reveal our bathroom. Now this is your bathroom. This is definitely not your usual side of bathrooms on the cruise ships. We have, of course, double sink here, marble top. We have a mirror right above. Hi friends, behind those doors, we have some additional storage, one on each side. Of course, we have upgraded amenities as for all the suites from Grand Suite and above by Melanie & Goetz. We have, of course, the how do you call them, the lotion, you have the bar of soaps, even vanity kit. Some additional storage. We have actually 3 drawers right there. This probably used to be used for napkins back in the day. No, it's actually still used for napkins. So the napkins are there, it's just not tucked through this hole, but it's definitely still there for you to use. We have 2 additional drawers right there, and of course some additional storage underneath each sink. Now, if I will turn you this way, as you can see, another huge mirror. You can see me everywhere this time. This suite, as I mentioned before, it's called the Beethoven suite, and for that reason, I guess we have some Beethoven decor here. This is also where you will find your, of course, throne and the bidet right next to it. Definitely higher end amenities and extras that you receive with the owner's suite. Now, if I will turn you towards the other side, we have a combination of a walk-in shower right here, and we also have right next to it a jetty tub. Now, I don't think that this is big enough for 2 people, but it's definitely great. I used those before. This is wonderful for after maybe a day at port, or just to relax in your own suite and enjoy some jetty type time in your own accommodation. Now, I will point out that both the tub and the walk-in shower itself has, of course, those upgraded amenities by Melanie & Goetz. They are coming standard with every suite. Okay, let's go back towards the living room space. We'll turn you around so you can see everything again. And I think it's time to talk about your outdoor space. You know, it's one of my favorites. So first of all, in the suite, let me see behind the TVs to show you. You basically have kind of like 3 windows that face in your balcony. The width of the balcony is the size basically of your whole suite, so it's going end to end. The side portions of it are not doors that you can open. You can't really exit through those, but there are definitely floor to ceiling, as you can see, tons of light. That's definitely great. In the middle, this is where your door is, and this is where you will exit to the balcony. And without further keep you waiting, let's go ahead and explore the balcony. Apologies for the noise, friends. I'm still in Fort Lauderdale, but let me turn you around. This is your balcony. On the balcony, we have a dining table with 2 armchairs right here. Let me walk to this side just to show you around. And on the other side, we have all that space, which includes a coffee table and additional 2 loungers. This space definitely feels generous in size, and I also enjoy how the flooring, and by the way, right now it's a little bit wet because they washed it. It's kind of like different floors compared to junior suites or regular balconies. They made it look kind of like a wood plank style. But yeah, the size is very, very generous. Definitely excited to have some breakfast here and enjoy some outdoors time. Owner's suite. Owner suite is definitely on the larger side. This is definitely something that you have this wow effect when you open the door. It is definitely much bigger than your balconies, your junior suites, even the grand suites. It is definitely up there. The space is very generous. I personally really enjoy having this extensive seating area. I will say, and for those who watch my Royal Suite video, I actually prefer the sofa shape and comfort in the owner suite over the Royal Suite, because it's an L shape, it's wider, it's very nice. But personal opinion. Aside from that, it's very nice to have different Radiance class ships balcony than the other Radiance class ships. And what I mean by that, on most, and I think all of the Radiance class ship but Jewel, the balconies and the owner suites are smaller because the bedroom is pushed out a little bit more. So it's almost half, if not smaller than that. Here on Jewel, the balcony is basically the whole width of your suite, and it's very nice, it's very spacious. I really enjoyed my time there. I will say that as far as location goes with the balcony, I would recommend probably the furthest suite from the centrum. This suite has been one of them, so if you happen to have access for the deck plans, definitely look into that. The reason is because there is kind of like this cut out on the deck above you, so you have less of a kind of like overload over your balcony. So I will say that this was very nice. I didn't have like anything feeling like it's hanging above me. Now, another thing that I really enjoy in the owner's suites is the dining table area. So if you would like to enjoy your benefits, such as the free room service or having a dinner maybe from your main dining options, you definitely can do that, and it's much more convenient than even the grand suite because you actually have a dedicated space. So that's very nice, and definitely, of course, you have the jet tap, and let's not forget that. So yeah, definitely owner suite is up there, but let's talk about things that I think that require some attention. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the main goal for staying in this category of suite again 3.5 years later is because back then my channel was in a different place, I was in a different place. The video, as you probably saw it there, it's kind of like, you know, just music in the background and just to show you the room itself. 3.5 years later, I'm in a different place, Jewel in a different place, the room is in a different place. So I wanted to compare it and to see where it is. And I will say that this time I feel like the room really needs some sort of refreshment. Now, I'm not saying definitely that it's in a bad condition or anything of that sort, but there are definitely points and aspects that I feel it needs some attention. We will start, for example, with the upholstery, like for example the chairs or the sofa, particularly the armchairs. I definitely think that those are due for some sort of refreshment. It probably needs to go to dry dock, maybe some reupholstery, maybe some deep cleaning, stuff of that sort. Now, I will say the room attendant was incredible. My room was always clean, it was always taken care, you know, the perfect way possible. After all, again, not only that it's Jewel and they've always been great, but it's also an owner suite. It's one of the top suites on board, so they definitely take care of that. But the age does its own, and the room's been used, and I think this is definitely time for it to be a little bit refreshed. Everything is definitely working. Don't worry, if you booked it, there is nothing wrong, and if it doesn't, you always can tell your either concierge or your room attendant. They will always make sure it's actually fixed for you. But she's definitely out there. She definitely needs to be refreshed. Another thing I will talk about is actually the benefits themselves, because there are some changes in the benefits that you get with those suites. So first of all, let me try and list for you what are the extras that currently are coming with those suites. So first of all, of course, you have the priority boarding, priority disembarkation. And because this is the last day, this is just to show you, you of course will get your special Pinnacle and Suites luggage tags. So priority is definitely everywhere, both for getting to the ships and off the ship when you get home. In addition to that, of course, you have access for the Suites Lounge. This one is located on deck number 13. It's a very nice area. I'm practically going there every day. This is very nice, especially for happy hour, because again, this is one of the benefits you have there. Between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. there's a happy hour, and all the drinks that have been served there are included. There is actually no menu, there is no list, it's pretty much everything you like, and they will try to make sure that everything you like is there, or at least as close as possible to what you might want.
The bar is actually conveniently located within the lounge itself. They also serve light breakfast. There is also kind of like petit fours and stuff like that during that happy hour between 5 and 8. The lounge itself is open 24/7, so you can always hang there just to relax and chill. There's also some sort of an outdoorsy area there that's very nice. And of course, there is always a concierge who have you access for. In my case, it was Pankaj, who was incredible. He actually been on the ship, I think, well, at least for most of the cruises that have been here this year, and every single time the experience with him was outstanding, literally above and beyond. But you always have access to the concierge services with those suites, and that person, of course, will make sure that everything you would like or need is taken care of. One of the things additional that you have in those suites is, of course, the espresso maker. Now, yes, you don't have to book the owner suite for that. Espresso makers come from junior suites and above, but it's definitely here with the owner suite. The only thing is that, unfortunately, and I'm taking you back into that refurbishment need, there is no real outlets in this room other than really that desk that I'm sitting in front of right now in the bedroom. For that reason, as you can see right here, the espresso maker is here in the bedroom on the desk because there's literally no other spot to plug it in. So those are the things that actually you get with those suites. What else? You have, of course, the upgraded amenities, and I'm probably forgetting something, but for the most part, so of course, there's the specialty breakfast that you get for Suites and Pinnacle. Those are served every day in the shops. There are usually between 7 a.m. to 8:30 or 9 a.m., dependable, of course, on the day and if it's sport or not. Now, from October 6th, when this cruise started, there are actually some enhancements to the benefits of the suites. And it's actually something that was surprising because it was never announced anywhere and there was no official, knowledge, at least on my end, correct me if I'm wrong. But it was very nice to board and start receiving kind of surprises every day. And first change that I actually noticed is that the sleepers are now actually provided here in the room in the owner suites. They all now has this new design. It's a blue color. But yeah, back in the day, and I'm talking about probably 20 years ago, this was kind of a standard. It was later on taken away. Starting from October 6th, at least he's here on Jewel, this is something you definitely receive your suite, so there are slippers. In addition, when I boarded the ship on the first day, I was provided this small gift, which is very cute. Hope you guys can see. It's basically kind of like a faux leather, how do you call it, room card holder. Very, very nice. I like this tiny, tiny logo here. This is very, very cute. Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to use it on my next cruises, even if it's not in the suite. But yeah, this is very, very nice to have. The next day, I think the next night, yes, I received another envelope on my bed. And inside of this envelope, I actually had this very cute face mask. Again, nothing crazy, but very, very nice with this Royal Caribbean logo right here. And this is definitely something reusable. Again, depends on the ships and depends on the rooms. As you probably saw in my last video, I was in one of those rooms that it's making very, very hard to make it dark. This is very, very useful. And yesterday, it was the one night before the end. Now, I'm not sure if I will receive anything tonight. Probably not, because it's the end of it. But again, on my bed, there was this, which is basically a leatherette, kind of like a luggage tag. Those things, while perhaps not being the fanciest or the most luxurious or expensive, you might say that I pay all this money for the suite. Is this all you get? No, it's not all you get, but I think it's much, much nicer compared to not getting it what it was before. I feel it's a very nice touch. I feel it's a very, very nice attention. I do like the new design, this blue color kind of thing, and the Royal Caribbean logo being everywhere. It's very nice. I will be very, very happy if you guys shared with me if you received those in your suites, or if you received any different items, because this cruise was only 4 nights. So obviously I got only so many items, when they delivered them. Do you get more things when you have longer cruises, or You know, last week, for example, I was in the Royal Suite, and unfortunately, that was still not part of this new program, so obviously I didn't get any of those, despite the fact being a Royal Suite. So I wonder, if you're in a Royal Suite, for example, are those any better, or do you get any different ones? Please share those comments below. I would like to learn from your experiences. So yeah, friends, to sum it up, I still think that Jewel of the Seas is definitely the Jewel of the Seas. She definitely has her charm. She definitely has her, you know, kind of like, I would say, sex appeal, because she doesn't really have this whole grand new ship vibe to it. She's more old school. I will say a little bit more like a very big yacht vibe. Now, if the ship would be renovated or refurbished and actually brought to what she was 20 years ago, I think she could actually be a huge, huge success for many, many years to come. But that's only my opinion. I still really like her as she is. Those are just my hopes. I mean, I'm glad I have the espresso for sure, but I would be really appreciative if I had a little bit more, at least plugins to connect those items in different areas. But yeah, if you have, of course, as always, any questions, something you would like to share, your experience on this or another ship, I'm always here and always glad to read your messages and your responses. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, so I can keep doing what I like to do most, which is sharing all those adventures with you. I want to thank you as always for taking the time to take a tour with me, learn perhaps something new, and I hope it was beneficial for your next travel. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. I'm your Hedge.